September 15, 2008. Wall Street was in panic. Lehman Brothers had just collapsed and the financial system was on the edge. Phones rang non-stop, each call bringing more bad news. Merrill Lynch was sold off. AIG was desperate for a bailout. It felt like capitalism itself was cracking. In the chaos, one bank stood strong. J.P. Morgan Chase, led by Jamie Dimon. While others scrambled for survival, J.P. Morgan was the government's go-to rescuer. Twice. This wasn't luck. It was the result of Dimon's fortress balance sheet strategy, preparing for disaster when others ignored the risks. J.P. Morgan had built a foundation for moments like this. This video will reveal how J.P. Morgan navigated the 2008 crisis, tracing its roots from J. Pierpont Morgan's era to today's global powerhouse. We'll break down how the bank makes money and how Dimon's leadership and risk philosophy set it apart. The story of J.P. Morgan in 2008 is more than a banking case study. It's about foresight, discipline, and the power of preparation. While others saw only crisis, J.P. Morgan saw opportunity. The bank didn't just survive. It emerged stronger and more dominant than ever. But its rise also raised tough questions about its size and influence, debates that continue today. The fortress had weathered the storm and come out on top. Let's pull back the curtain on the unstoppable bank. The crisis was just the beginning. To understand J.P. Morgan Chase, start with John Pierpont Morgan, a titan who shaped American finance. He built industries, financing U.S. Steel and General Electric, and brought order to chaos. In 1907, Morgan orchestrated a rescue, acting as a one-man central bank. The modern giant emerged in 2000, merging with Chase Manhattan, then acquiring Bank One and Jamie Dimon. Dimon brought relentless focus on risk and the fortress balance sheet. By 2008, J.P. Morgan Chase was ready for the next great panic, and the world was watching. J.P. Morgan Chase is a financial supermarket built on 4 pillars. First, consumer and community banking. The Chase branches you see everywhere, offering checking, savings, mortgages, and credit cards. This division provides stable, low-cost deposits. Second, corporate and investment bank. The Wall Street powerhouse. It raises capital, advises on mergers, and trades everything from stocks to commodities. High risk, high reward. Third, commercial banking, serving mid-sized companies, municipalities, and nonprofits with loans and cash management. It's relationship-driven and steady. Fourth, asset and wealth management, catering to the wealthy and institutions, managing trillions in assets for consistent fees. Each pillar adds stability and scale, letting the bank weather storms and seize opportunities. The fortress balance sheet ties it all together, ensuring the bank can survive shocks and keep growing. J.P. Morgan's business model is about diversification, discipline, and trust. That's how it makes billions, and why it's the industry's benchmark. The bank's structure is its strength. In a crisis, every pillar matters. The sum is greater than the parts. That's the secret of the fortress. As 2007 turned to 2008, the subprime mortgage crisis exploded. Banks loaded up on risky loans, only to watch them implode. Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers fell, but J.P. Morgan, under Jamie Dimon, had avoided the worst. When Bear Stearns collapsed, J.P. Morgan stepped in, buying it with Fed support, both rescue and opportunity. Later, J.P. Morgan acquired Washington Mutual, adding millions of customers. While others vanished, J.P. Morgan grew stronger. The fortress had passed its test. But new challenges were on the horizon. The story was far from over. At the heart of J.P. Morgan's success is Jamie Dimon. Dimon's style is blunt, hands-on, and deeply focused on both details and the big picture. His Dimon doctrine is simple: understand, measure, and manage risk relentlessly. The bank constantly stress tests for worst-case scenarios, holding more capital than required. This culture of discipline was in place long before the crisis. Dimon's experience, turning around Bank One, learning from setbacks, shaped his approach. He centralized risk controls, broke down silos, and demanded accountability. Dimon personally reviewed risk reports, ensuring no blind spots. In 2008, this discipline made all the difference. While others were blindsided, Diamond's team saw the dangers and acted early. The lesson in finance: disciplined risk management, driven from the top, is the ultimate asset. Diamond's leadership turned the fortress into an industry model. Today, J.P. Morgan Chase is the largest U.S. bank, with over $4 trillion in assets and operations in 100-plus countries. Its 4 business lines are industry leaders, giving it unmatched scale and diversification. The fortress balance sheet is now a well-oiled machine, with capital and liquidity far above regulatory minimums. This inspires confidence from clients, regulators, and markets. But size brings scrutiny. The bank must balance safety with shareholder returns, a constant challenge. Jamie Dimon's long leadership has provided stability and vision, but his eventual succession is a looming question. The bank faces new threats: nimble fintechs, regulatory pressure, and the risk of being too big to fail. Its size, once its greatest asset, is now also a challenge. The House of Morgan is a powerhouse, but must keep evolving. The fortress is strong, but the world is changing fast. The next chapter will test its adaptability. The scorecard is impressive, but the game isn't over. The future is uncertain and full of risk. J.P. Morgan's journey through the 2008 crisis offers 3 timeless lessons. First, always plan for the worst, even in good times. Diamond's insistence on stress testing and caution was the foundation for survival. Second, scale is a weapon, if managed with discipline. The bank's size and diversification let it absorb shocks and seize opportunities. Third, reputation is priceless. In crisis, the government turned to the bank it trusted most. For any business, these rules matter. Build resilience, grow intelligently, and protect your reputation. Trust is the ultimate currency, earned through consistent execution and integrity. These aren't just banking lessons, they're universal business truths. The fortress was built on prudence, disciplined growth, and reputational strength. That's why J.P. Morgan didn't just survive the crisis, it thrived. The rivals who ignored these rules disappeared. The bank's success was no accident. It was the result of relentless preparation and discipline. In business, as in banking, the storm will come. The question is, will you be ready? The fortress was. J.P. Morgan Chase emerged from the crisis as Wall Street's king, its fortress strategy vindicated. But its size and success fuel debate. Is it too big to fail, or too big to succeed? Critics warn that its dominance creates systemic risk and moral hazard, leading to tighter regulation and constant scrutiny. The bank now faces existential threats from fintech disruptors and the challenge of transforming into a digital powerhouse. Billions are spent on technology, but agility is hard for a giant. The future of finance will be won on the digital frontier. J.P. Morgan's paradox. It's a model of discipline and leadership, but also a symbol of concentrated power. Its challenge is to keep innovating, satisfy regulators, and prove it's not a threat to the system. The fortress won the last crisis, but defending its kingdom is an ongoing battle. The next storm will be different. The world is watching. Can the fortress adapt and endure? Only time will tell.